Imagine you are a sea captain standing on the deck of your wooden ship nearly 200 years ago. You have sailed for months, crossing vast, stormy oceans, guided only by the stars and a simple compass. Your mission is to find what lies at the very bottom of the world, a place no one has ever truly seen. One morning, you awaken to a strange, luminous glow on the horizon. As you sail closer, the glow solidifies into a colossal wall of ice, stretching as far as your eyes can see in either direction. This is it, Antarctica. A sheer, vertical cliff of frozen water, towering hundreds of feet above your ship, shimmering in the pale sunlight. It looks like the very edge of the Earth itself. For those early sailors, this was a sight that defied all imagination and filled them with a profound sense of awe and dread. The air grows unnaturally cold, biting at any exposed skin, and a deep, unsettling silence hangs over the water, broken only by the groaning and cracking of the immense ice barrier. Great chunks of ice, some as large as buildings, break away from the wall and crash into the sea with a thunderous roar, creating waves that rock your vessel violently. It is a place that feels utterly alien, hostile to life, and completely impassable. You wonder what secrets could possibly lie beyond such a formidable and seemingly endless fortress of ice, a kingdom of white and blue that guards the planet's southernmost secrets. The sailors would have looked at their maps, which showed this region as a complete blank, a vast, empty space simply labeled Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown southern land. For centuries, people had only guessed what might be here. Some believed it was a lush paradise, a counterweight to the continents of the north. But confronted with this stark, frozen reality, it was easy to believe the more ancient myths. Perhaps this was not a continent at all, but a barrier created by nature to mark the end of the known world, a place beyond which mortals were not meant to travel. It was a powerful, humbling experience, making even the bravest explorer feel small and insignificant against the forces of nature. Staring at that great ice wall, the captain must have felt a mix of intense curiosity and primal fear. This was not just a new land to be charted, it was a fundamental challenge to human understanding of the planet. It was a place that did not seem to belong to the same world of green fields and warm seas they had left behind. The sheer scale of it was overwhelming, a landscape that promised nothing but hardship and peril. And yet, the desire to know, to see what was on the other side of that wall, was irresistible. This was the moment the great age of Antarctic exploration truly began, born from that first breathtaking glimpse of the planet's final frozen frontier. The initial belief that Antarctica was merely the edge of the world did not last for very long. As more ships braved the treacherous southern oceans, explorers began to piece together the truth. They sailed along the coast, charting hundreds of miles of the ice wall, and soon realized it was not an endless barrier, but the coastline of a gigantic landmass. This was not the end of the world. It was a new continent, the fifth largest on our planet, hidden under a thick blanket of ice. This discovery transformed the quest from one of reaching the world's end to one of exploring a new, mysterious land, a continent of unimaginable size and emptiness that was completely unknown to humanity. The task of mapping this new continent was incredibly difficult and dangerous. The ships were made of wood, and they were constantly at risk of being crushed by the shifting sea ice. Compasses behaved strangely so close to the magnetic South Pole, making navigation a constant struggle. The weather was unpredictable and extraordinarily violent, with sudden blizzards and hurricane-force winds that could appear with almost no warning. Explorers had to endure months of isolation in total darkness during the polar winter, a psychological challenge just as great as the physical ones. Every small piece of information, every newly charted bay or distant mountain peak was won at a great cost. As they pushed further inland, they found it was not a flat sheet of ice. Beneath the frozen surface lay a hidden landscape of immense mountain ranges, some taller than the Alps, and vast, deep valleys, all buried under miles of ice. They discovered that the continent was not a single solid piece of land. It was actually an archipelago of large islands and a greater landmass, all welded together by the enormous ice sheet that covers over 98% of its surface. This ice sheet itself was a wonder, containing around 70% of all the fresh water on Earth. Antarctica was slowly revealing itself as a continent of superlatives, the coldest, driest, and highest on average in the world. These early explorations, though often ending in failure or retreat, fundamentally changed our perception of the planet. The empty space on the map was gradually being filled in, replaced by coastlines, mountains, and vast plateaus. The idea of an unknown southern land was replaced by the reality of Antarctica, a continent with its own unique geography and character. It was no longer a mythical place, but a real one, albeit one more extreme and challenging than anyone could have ever conceived. The stage was set for a new kind of ambition, not just to see the continent, but to conquer it, to be the first to stand at its very heart, the South Pole. Antarctica is a land of contradictions, a place of extreme and often bizarre natural phenomena that make it unlike anywhere else on Earth. Its most defining feature is, of course, the cold. Temperatures in the interior can plummet to unimaginable lows, reaching colder than -89 degrees Celsius, which is cold enough to freeze carbon dioxide out of the air. This intense cold is relentless, shaping every aspect of the continent's existence. It is also the windiest place on the planet. Katabatic winds, which are formed by cold, dense air flowing down from the high polar plateau, can reach speeds of over 200 miles per hour, creating perpetual blizzards and sculpting the ice into strange wave-like formations. The sheer size of Antarctica is difficult to comprehend. It is larger than the United States and Mexico combined, a vast wilderness of white that stretches for thousands of miles in every direction. The ice sheet that covers it is, on average, over a mile thick, and in some places it is nearly 3 miles deep. This immense weight of ice is so heavy that it has pushed the landmass down by more than half a mile. If this ice were to melt, global sea levels would rise by a catastrophic 200 feet. This colossal scale makes human beings seem utterly insignificant, and the isolation is absolute. In the heart of the continent, you can be thousands of miles from the nearest coast, in a silent, empty world. Yet, beneath this frozen exterior, Antarctica hides some astonishing secrets. One of the most incredible discoveries was the existence of subglacial lakes. Scientists found that there are more than 400 lakes of liquid water hidden deep beneath the ice sheet. The most famous of these is Lake Vostok, which is as large as Lake Ontario, but is buried under 2.5 miles of solid ice. The water in these lakes has been isolated from the outside world for millions of years, kept liquid by the pressure of the ice above and the geothermal heat from the earth below. They are like hidden worlds, ecosystems that could potentially host unique forms of life that have evolved in complete darkness and isolation. This contrast of a frozen surface and a dynamic world beneath is one of Antarctica's greatest mysteries. It is not just a static block of ice. The continent has active volcanoes, such as Mount Erebus, which spews crystals of molten rock into the frigid air, its fiery crater surrounded by a landscape of ice and snow. This geothermal activity reminds us that Antarctica is a geologically active continent, not just a frozen relic. The combination of its immense size, extreme weather, and these hidden, almost magical features makes it a natural laboratory for studying how our planet works and how life can exist in the most extreme conditions imaginable. The early 20th century became known as the heroic age of Antarctic exploration, a time when brave and ambitious men raced to be the first to reach the geographic South Pole. This was not just a scientific goal, it was a matter of national pride and personal glory. Two figures stand out in this epic saga: the British Royal Navy officer Robert Falcon Scott and the Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen. Their rivalry became the stuff of legend. Amundsen was a master of polar survival, meticulously planning his expedition by learning from the Inuit and using sled dogs for transportation. Scott, on the other hand, placed his faith in new technology, like motorized sledges, and the sheer endurance of his men pulling their own heavy sleighs. Scott's expedition was marked by both incredible bravery and terrible misfortune. His motorized sledges broke down early on, and the ponies he brought could not cope with the extreme cold. He and his 4 companions were forced to pull their own sledges, a grueling task that slowly drained their strength. Despite these hardships, they pushed on, driven by the hope of being the first to stand at the bottom of the world. After a journey of immense suffering, they finally reached the South Pole on January 17, 1912. But their triumph turned to despair. There, waiting for them, was a tent and a Norwegian flag. Amundsen had beaten them by more than a month. The return journey for Scott and his team was a tragedy. Weakened, frostbitten, and running out of food, they faced unusually severe weather. One by one, they perished. Scott was the last to die, found frozen in his tent, only 11 miles from a supply depot that could have saved them. His final diary entries, written as he knew death was approaching, speak of courage, loyalty, and an unbreakable spirit. Though he lost the race, Scott's story became a powerful tale of human endurance against impossible odds, and he was hailed as a national hero in Britain for his courage and sacrifice. His story serves as a stark reminder of how unforgiving the Antarctic continent can be. Another great figure of this era was Ernest Shackleton, whose ambition was not to reach the pole, but to cross the entire continent from sea to sea. His ship, the Endurance, became trapped and was eventually crushed by the pack ice, leaving him and his 27 men stranded on the frozen ocean. What followed was one of the greatest survival stories of all time. Shackleton led his men across the treacherous, shifting ice to open water, then sailed in small lifeboats to the desolate Elephant Island. From there, he and a few others made an astonishing 800-mile journey across the world's stormiest sea in a tiny boat to seek help, and then crossed a rugged, uncharted mountain range to reach a whaling station. Incredibly, he returned and rescued every single one of his men. For a long time, scientists thought Antarctica had always been a frozen wasteland, a continent locked in ice for its entire history. But the heroic age explorers made a discovery that would completely overturn this idea and revolutionize our understanding of Earth's past. While on his doomed return journey from the pole, Scott's team, even when they were starving and exhausted, took the time to collect rock samples. When their bodies were found, 35 pounds of fossils were discovered on the sledge with them. These were not fossils of simple marine life, but of plants, including the leaves of a plant called Glossopteris. This was a monumental discovery. The Glossopteris fossil was the key to a much larger puzzle. This same plant fossil had also been found in South America, Africa, India, and Australia. The only way this could be possible was if all these continents were once connected. This finding provided crucial evidence for the theory of continental drift and the existence of a supercontinent, Gondwana, which existed hundreds of millions of years ago. Antarctica, it turned out, was not always at the South Pole. It was once part of this giant landmass, situated in a much warmer climate, and was covered not in ice, but in lush green forests teeming with life. This discovery painted a completely new picture of the continent. It was a lost world, buried under miles of ice. Further fossil discoveries over the following decades have confirmed this incredible past. Paleontologists have found the fossilized remains of dinosaurs, amphibians, and early mammals, proving that Antarctica once had a rich and diverse ecosystem. Imagine, a land we now know as the coldest place on Earth was once a temperate forest, where dinosaurs roamed under a sun that shone for months on end during the long polar summer. It is a mind-boggling transformation that shows just how dynamic and ever-changing our planet truly is. These fossils are more than just curiosities. They are a vital record of Earth's climate history. By studying them, scientists can learn about past periods of global warming and how life adapted to dramatic environmental shifts. The story of Antarctica's green past and its descent into a deep freeze provides important clues about climate change and its potential impacts on our world today. The very continent that represents the extreme of cold is paradoxically one of our best windows into a warmer past. A history that Scott and his men sacrificed their lives to help uncover, carrying their precious rock samples to the very end. Today, Antarctica is no longer a blank space on the map. It is a continent dedicated to peace and science, governed by an international treaty that prohibits military activity and protects its unique environment. Dozens of research stations, operated by many different nations, are scattered across the ice, where scientists study everything from climate change and astronomy to the secrets of the universe. Using modern technology, we can now see the mountains and valleys hidden beneath the ice sheet with incredible detail. We have drilled deep into the ice to retrieve cores that contain bubbles of ancient air, giving us a record of our planet's atmosphere going back hundreds of thousands of years. Yet for all our scientific progress, Antarctica remains a place of profound mystery and wonder. We have only just begun to explore the vast subglacial lakes, and we do not yet know what forms of life, if any, might exist in their cold, dark waters. The sheer scale of the continent means that huge areas remain physically unexplored by humans. There are still mountain ranges that no person has ever set foot on, and valleys hidden under the ice that we have only glimpsed with radar. The continent continues to hold its secrets close, reminding us that there are still frontiers left on our own planet. The fascination with Antarctica endures because it represents the extreme edge of human experience. It is a place that tests the limits of our technology, our endurance, and our courage. The stories of explorers like Scott and Shackleton continue to inspire us because they are tales of the human spirit, confronting the raw, untamable power of nature. Antarctica is a humbling place. It shows us that despite all our advancements, we are still small in the face of the planet's immense forces. It is a pristine wilderness that serves as a vital baseline for the health of our world, a sensitive indicator of the changes our planet is undergoing. Ultimately, Antarctica's greatest value may lie in its ability to inspire awe. In a world that often feels fully mapped and understood, it remains a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that there is still so much to discover. It is the Earth's last great wilderness, a continent of breathtaking beauty and stark simplicity. Its silence, its vastness, and its powerful, icy landscapes connect us to the planet in a primal way. As long as that great white continent exists at the bottom of the world, it will continue to call to the explorer in all of us, beckoning us to wonder what other secrets lie waiting, frozen in time, beneath the ice.